We've also got Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's in fantastic form and wants to carry that on. Won the first tournament of the season against Chris Small, who was the conqueror of John Higgins and probably the best session of snooker played this week. So all the players will be itching to get out onto the table. No further ado, MC Alan Hughes.
And now let's welcome the players, table number 2, and it brings to the table 2 young stars of the future playing some brilliant snooker. Will you welcome together Gerard Green and Jimmy Mickey? And now to table number 1, a real solid Scot, back to his best, Chris Small, against the world number 1 and reigning United Kingdom champion, the brilliant Ronnie O'Sullivan.
This is the one we'll be concentrating on. Certainly a contrast of styles in this quarter-final. We've got Willie Thorne and John Virgo watching this match. Good afternoon, gents. How much is this match going to test the powers of Ronnie's patience and concentration today?
Well, I think John and I were talking about it before the match, Hazel, and I think viewers at home will know that they couldn't be even any more different styles if you pick 2 people from a different planet. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting, John. I think Ronnie's got the game to play whichever way.
Well, absolutely. I don't think you get to be world number 1, as Ronnie O'Sullivan is, without having all departments of the game. But it certainly is a very interesting clash.
Yes, I know you commentated on the game between Chris Small and John Higgins, and you were saying that's as good a session of snooker as you've ever seen, John.
Oh, Chris Small was absolutely brilliant in that session. Having said that, John Higgins didn't put him under a lot of pressure. John Higgins is having a real problem with his safety. But he certainly proved if you give him the chance, he'll take it. Interesting confrontation.
No attempt at the pot there, just trying to play the cover with the green or brown on that last red that's gone towards the balk area. Well, that was a mistake from Ronnie. Caught the red, much too thin. So the first chance falls to his opponent.
Fight.
That was the safety shot that gave Chris this chance. Well, obviously there's a red will go into the left corner.
6.
He's going to have to, well, there you see it. He's going to have to play this with a lot of power. Deep screw and probably going back up the table for the blue. Screwing off another red, a second red. He needs to get this, though. He'll certainly be opening up the reds here. Dangerous shot.
Six, Chris Small.
Well, the type of pot he was knocking in against John Higgins in his last match. It's early days, though.
Ronnie O'Sullivan turned pro in 1992, Chris Small in 91, so they've had a lot of experience between them. They've played each other some 5 occasions. And Chris Small has actually had the one victory back in 1997. But as you would expect, somebody of the class of Ronnie, he's holding the upper hand at the moment.
One.
And now one chance all, Chris Small on 6. I wonder how many Ronnie O'Sullivan can make.
Well, that was a terrific shot. It looks as though he's been unlucky.
5.
Looks as though he'd released the black. He was on a red, but then all of a sudden, other balls came in the way. A ready kiss with the cue ball, covered the red to the left corner.
Six.
That pot in the middle was made to look very, very simple, and even on a club table, which quite obviously the middle pockets are a lot bigger on a club table, you try knocking those in at pace. Very difficult shot. Needs to find a gap here, though. There's not a lot of room for perfect position. Does he come down far enough? Maybe the one at the bottom of the pack will pot. It must do. No. Yes, it does. You can clearly see from that picture. And the pink's possibly available as well. So this is turning out to be a good chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
9.
Well, just trying to nudge those 4 reds open. He hasn't really, but he knew he'd always be on 1 into the left corner.
15.
He's improved, really, hasn't he, over the last few years, Ronnie? Not ability-wise, but temperament.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, we all know that, you know, he threatened to pack in a
16.
few times, and it was so upsetting for somebody with the abundance of talent he obviously has to treat the game with as little respect as the game deserved. But I think Ronnie just didn't realise how difficult this game was, and he's only just beginning to realise it now, and I'm so pleased he's knuckled down, John.
Well, that's
21.
a very fair point. Left-handed. All comes alike, though, to this young man. Well, he missed it, but I'll tell you what.
21. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
The way he played it, considering he's right-handed, just shows you how good he is with his left hand, but just the pace kept it out. Not an easy chance this for Chris Small. Pink and black tied up, so he's going to have to go back up the table for the blue.
One.
Now, if the blue had been on its spot, that would be absolutely perfect, but it's not. He looks as though he's too straight. Well, that's a nice shot, and he was unlucky. Unlucky not to be on the red into the left corner. He may be able to get through to the one to the right corner pocket, the one closest to it, but he'd be hampered. Well, he can't get through it anyway, but being hampered by the black as he was. So it's a shame that, just a safety.
5, Chris Small.
Yes, John, we talked about contrasting styles at the beginning of the programme, and we all know how quickly Ronnie O'Sullivan plays because of his century breaks he seems to make very quickly. His average shot duration throughout this match has been some 16 seconds, where Chris Small's average shot time throughout this tournament is 30 seconds. And I just wonder, John, whether he'll try and really knuckle down and try and get Ronnie to play more at his pace.
Yes, well, a lot of it, of course, will depend on how the balls run. I don't think Chris will purposely try to slow Ronnie down. What you've got to do, of course, is very important, is play your own game. And that was a good pot. Judge the cannon. Of course, the pink and black are now available. Being so close to the cushion, it's not that easy to get good on the next red. I think probably the pink is the ball to pot. Unless he feels he can pot the black. Oh, he's playing the black, so he must think he can get through to the red near the right corner. Because obviously he'll be running into the pink in potting this black. And it's not there.
1, Chris Small.
So that was half a chance. And now it's a chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ronnie there tried to cannon into that cluster of 4 in the middle of the table. Always knew he'd be on the black, of course. Black near the corner pocket. He's got a little bit of work to do now with the cue ball to get good position on the next red. He may favour the red on the right-hand side of the table to play on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, this is very unexpected from both these players. You may remember in both their last matches, Ronnie was 3-1 behind against young Michael Holt and came back to win 5-3. He played very well in the second half of the match, and Chris Small was quite unbelievable against John Higgins. But at this moment in time, neither player has yet to settle in this match. We're just coming up to 12.5 minutes of play, and still an awful lot of snooker left in this frame.
Well,
he could have done with just run a little bit farther than he has for the blue. He's looking to see if he can get on the bottom red. Hard to tell the angle he's got on the blue. No, it's no good. That's why he's thinking about playing the black. He's got the rest out. He'd much prefer to play it with his hand on the table. Well, this is a tough shot. But he's entitled to be playing with confidence after his performance in the last round. Nice shot. He's on this lower red, and of course in potting it, it'll bring the other 3 reds into play.
8.
Just 2 points behind. This is a good chance, this.
Yes, without doubt, he'll certainly bring those reds right into open play. You would imagine him being able to pot the 4 loose reds and colours, so whatever happens should be 20 or 30 in front after this visit.
9.
And something we haven't mentioned, John, what I just realised, Chris Small's played all his other, as we see the red go in, played all his matches on the other table, whereas Ronnie's played on this table a couple of times. And that, even though, OK, the tables are match tables, they're very, very similar, you do need half a frame just to get the pace of the table.
Well, absolutely, that never used to be the case. I mean, the table
16.
fitters will tell you that they're exactly the same pace and everything else. But yeah, you just got to get used to the surroundings. If he was to win this frame, it'd certainly be a boost. The table on the other side of the wall is the one he's played his other 2 matches on.
$17.
But a good chance to win this first frame at this visit.
$23.
Early days in this match, but there's the shot time so far. 22 seconds for Ronnie O'Sullivan, so he's slowed down a bit. 32 for Chris Small, which is about average for Chris. Play for the
24.
difficult red, and now it's gone in. This first frame, at his mercy.
Yes, black and 2 more reds with at least pink and black. It means he won't need that last red along the cushion. So Chris will now be very disappointed if he doesn't win the frame at this visit. That puts him 21 in front. 2 reds, 2
21.
blacks would be 16. Which would put him 37 in front, so he can afford 1 pink.
$32.
There you see it, 28 ahead,
8.
43 remaining. So red and a black will leave Ronnie needing a snooker. And he's got the perfect angle.
39.
And perfect on the black. And you would think if he pots this black and knocks the red in along the top cushion, Ronnie O'Sullivan won't be coming back to the table again in this frame.
$46.
So Ronnie had a good chance. He missed an easy black that was over the pocket. That mistake led to this chance for Chris, and he's taken it very, very well indeed.
$47.
The frame started very scrappily indeed. It was virtually 12 minutes of play before there became an opening where we could suggest that somebody would win the frame, and that's exactly what Chris Small has done. This has really been his first opportunity with reds spread around, and he's made this break very nicely indeed.
54.
Possible 81 available now if he clears. And I think it's important just to, because he hasn't had the table time, as we suggested earlier on, he's played his matches on the other table. So somebody like Ronnie might have played an exhibition shot now, but Chris will just really take his time and make sure that he clears the table here, just to get a little bit of table
59.
time.
63. $68. $74.
He started very scrappily. He's finished in a blaze of
81.
glory. Chris Small
Chris Small.
takes the opening frame just to let Ronnie O'Sullivan. He knows now he's got a match on his hands. Small leads 1-0.
Yes, excellent start by Chris Small in this quarter-final. Now, we would love to hear from you on any snooker-related matters. If you've got any messages for some of the guys or any questions for them, this is our email address. As usual, it's snooker@bbc.co.uk. And if you'd like to send any messages, opinions, thoughts even about the game, it's 81222. And you can text in there, but you must start your message with the word snooker, otherwise it will end up in the ether somewhere and it won't get to us here. But the question that we've been asking you today is about slow play. Do you think that it should be penalised in snooker as it is in other sports such as golf and cricket? Well, you don't at the moment, do you? It's a resounding 62% for the no vote. But what intrigues me is, what kind of sanctions could you apply? Perhaps dock them a frame, dock them 10 points, ask them to move 10 yards back and use an extension? What?
I'm not too sure, really. I'd certainly be wrong to sort of have a clock on every shot and call somebody a foul if it went over a certain amount of time. But what you could do is, as actually mentioned by some of the officials backstage, is you could actually sort of say, well, over a period of a tournament, if you went over a certain time per shot, that you actually fined a certain amount of money as they would do in golf. But it's hard to know really what to do. And it certainly wasn't slow there. Chris was motoring through the points.
Yes, at what point, John, should the sanctions be enforced then?
Well, basically, it's common sense. I think most players know if somebody were playing somebody and they were doing it deliberately, you know, you could have a word with the ref, even if the ref, if the referee wasn't onto it himself, but he should be. I mean, most referees, they know when someone's taken an inordinate amount of time over a certain shot.
Well, let's get back to the match as you're seeing frame 2, the start of that. Willie and John, what do you think the penalties should be, if any?
Well, you're talking to two very quick players, Hazel, in our time. But, yeah, I agree with John Parrott. I think if someone is doing it purposely to put off his opponent, then the referee should take control and have a word, as they have done in the past.
Yeah, it's interesting to see or hear Steve Davis's point of view, where he said that at the end of the tournament, if you've taken more time than you should do, you should be fined. Oh, Steve, you won't have as much money in the bank as you've got now, my friend.
Anyway, back to this game, which is very interesting that Chris Small won the first frame and that Ronnie had a couple of chances and didn't really take them. Oh, well, that's an excellent safety shot from Ronnie. And I think that's the difference with Ronnie O'Sullivan now to maybe a couple of seasons ago when he was having his problems, head problems. He enjoys every aspect of the game now, the potting, the break building and the tactical side. It's a good return though from Chris Small. Little tap on the table from Ronnie in appreciation.
Oh, 3 excellent shots from the trot. Very similar shots Chris Small will be playing, very fine off the outside of the pack. Kissing the brown is the only problem for Chris here. If he avoids the cannon on the brown, he'll be okay. Actually, all the green, he hit it far too thick. Potable red for Ronnie. He'll only take it on if the black pots. So the black must be available, otherwise he wouldn't take this on. phone the police. That's 2 long shots he's missed in this match.
Well, there's certainly a red on here for Chris Small. You see it, the one just to the left of the black. I don't know if he can get to the other one. I think his big problem is, can he get up the table for the blue? Can't hold for position for the black. No, and he couldn't.
1.
So, he's got 1 point. He's going to have a problem hitting a colour here.
Well, just as we watch the white come to rest, the problem he's got is obviously the red over the corner pocket. Now, the only ball he can hit and cover that red up is the brown. Now, there is an angle to come through the 2 reds to the left of the black, go off 2 cushions, try and rest on the brown. Could play 1 cushion to hit the green, but he needs to cover that red over the pocket. So whatever colour he plays, he's got to make sure he doesn't leave that red on.
Blue.
Well, I can't believe he's playing the blue, because if he hits it full ball, he'll leave the red on. Well, he's been very fortunate. He's either half ball, or has he been fortunate? Well, he just played the angle.
1. Chris Small.
Very good judgment of pace, that, John.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? He's nearly snookered Ronnie. So Ronnie just having to roll into these reds. I mean, I agree with you, Willie. There's no way I'd have thought of playing the blue. But he's hit it absolutely perfect, really. Okay, he nearly went in off, but he was thinking if he could get the cue ball on the right-hand side of the table, it was going to be safe. Well played. Normally in these positions, when they tip-tap in, then you think, well, re-rack, but I don't think there'll be one here, because eventually one of the players is going to leave a route back to the balk end. It might take a few little shots. Well, Ronnie's just had a little look at Chris there. He didn't catch his eye, and that's the way they do it now. They sort of look across. Now, will Chris look at Ronnie? Referees offered it, and yes, they decided to re-rack. So, never used to be done years ago, did it? I mean, we could have been like that for 10 or 15 minutes. I suppose when we talk about slow play, that's why we have votes on it.
Yeah, I think in fairness, John, if I was Chris Small, I may have just messed around for a few more moments, because we know that Ronnie likes to get on with everything and play very, very quickly. On the other hand, if Chris Small could knock him out, I mean, it's not, you know, unsportsmanship, is it? I mean, it's the way to play.
Used to be all part and parcel of the game, didn't it? It was the referee who offered it. I know Ronnie gave Chris a glance, but Chris never looked at him, and it was the referee who, in the end, said, you know, what's happening here. But I agree with you. I mean, that type of tempo was Chris Small's tempo. Anyway, whatever. They both agreed in the end, although it'd have been very hard to have disagreed, wouldn't it, really?
Yes, Laurie Allendale refereeing. Is what was the cue doctor. Stephen Hendry used to fly Laurie Allendale up and down the country whenever he needed a new tip on. Of course, he's one of our best ever referees. Had a year out last year while he was tournament director, but come back to refereeing.
Poor safety shot from Ronnie. And left an easy red over the corner. Now, can he get on the black for the opposite corner? Well, that was a poor shot from Chris.
1.
He obviously thought he could hold for the black, but not at that pace. And he looked as though he hit the red pretty much where he wanted to. I cannot understand that shot at all.
I think he just got a little bit excited, John. I, like you think he hit it exactly where he meant to, just completely overhit it, or may have played with a little bit more drag and didn't get the drag on the cue ball to slow the cue ball down. But he's certainly in trouble here.
One, Chris Small.
Well, considering he had to put the rest on top of the spider, that was a pretty good shot. As you can see, that red doesn't pass the black. It's only a safety shot for Ronnie. Good length.
Yes, you mentioned a few moments ago that it improved in all departments, and you could see by the way Ronnie stared the white down to the cushion there. He was actually excited to realise he's got the pace exactly right and missed the cannon on blue and yellow. Really is totally tuned in at the moment. The thing is, at this moment in time, Johnny, you'd have to suggest that Chris Small has got Ronnie playing at his pace, and we'll show you the shot time here. Ronnie O'Sullivan's average shot time throughout this tournament has been 16 seconds.
Yes, and now 28, which is very pedestrian for the rocket. Does he kiss the brown? No, he's just sneaked past it. That's an excellent safety shot from Chris. He's certainly making it hard work for Ronnie O'Sullivan. But that's the game he plays. He's a real hard match player. You've got to fight for your chances. You just can't play one or two good safety shots to make this fella make a mistake. You'll have to catch this mighty fine. Oh, well, he played the other red.
Foul. 4, Chris Small.
And, no, in the end, hit that too thin for the shot he was attempting, although it didn't really look on. He certainly couldn't have attempted the pot there, because it was certainly not a shot for nothing. So, to coin a phrase, Chris Small calling the shots at the moment. And if he can knock this red in, give him a chance to build up a useful lead in the second frame and keep Ronnie O'Sullivan sat in his chair.
Two.
He was a bit fortunate there. He got into that too much. The ready kiss which he knocked in, if he'd have caught this full ball, he'd have been on nothing. If he catches that red full in the face, he's on nothing. As it happened, he gets 2 points and black to follow. Doesn't want to be too straight on this
9.
red. Now he's just got enough angle just to bring it out for the black.
Viewers at home may remember in his previous match against John Higgins, he was some 290 odd points without reply against John Higgins, and also 45 minutes was the time duration between Higgins' last pot to his next one. Such is the way that Chris Small occasionally dominates. And it's very, very early days at the moment, but of course we know he finished the last frame with a break of 81. He's already on 22
17
points now and counting, so up to now it's 103 points without reply. I wonder what that gap will be before O'Sullivan pots a ball.
Well, he's on the black. Probably a little bit thinner than he would have liked. Just misjudged the contact on the second red. A little bit of work to do with the cue ball here. We have to put a little bit of side on it. Well, is he looking at a plant?
25.
If there's no plant, it doesn't look to be getting any easier here, unless he's found a gap. Oh, he has. He couldn't have played for that gap, believe me.
26.
So things are running very nicely for him at the moment. He's not being put under a lot of pressure from Ronnie O'Sullivan. And when he's getting in, he's having a nice run of the ball. Nice afternoon.
That's a lot better shot than it looks. He had to play what we call a stun run through there. If he'd have played just the plain ball shot, he would have probably cannoned into the yellow. So that stun run through shot from distance is very, very good. Played it perfectly. Choice of reds. And that's what you play when you play that kind of shot. You'd be playing for 2 reds because you can't guarantee. There's a stun run through to miss the cannon on the yellow. And the pace he's played is as those reds come into vision. He's playing for the choice of 2 shots, 2 reds. Good play.
One.
A little shake of the head after that black. He's on the red into the right centre, but it's, well, a thinner potting angle than he would have liked. He needs to just control the cue ball.
Unlike Chris Small to play an aggressive shot because he tends to like to get what's on, but there's so much value in playing into the pink here. There's only one more loose red. If he can just kiss, he doesn't have to play this cannon hard because whatever happens to the pink, it's bound to move reds out that are just below it. I'd have played it a little bit harder than that, Chris. You didn't give yourself much of a chance. You were just playing the full ball kiss to leave the long red.
44.
I agree with going into the pink, but probably half the speed of that again, just to manoeuvre something. But we know what's going to happen now. He's 44 points break. He's 49 in the lead. Good safety. Keep Ronnie on the rack.
.44 Chris Small.
Well, if you run out of position, it's better than missing an easy ball. A little bit annoyed with himself. But a good safety and a good lead. Now, that flick on the green, cover the line to this red to the left corner. I don't know if it has or not. I would say not. You can get through to this. And what a good pot it was. And he's on the black. Well, the form he's shown against John Higgins in the last round, he's brought it to this match as well. Ooh, if he had nudged that, it'd have all gone wrong. But he's just run by it. He's looking for red colour and one more red for 2-0. Just rub past that red. If you catch that a fraction thicker, the red may not have been on. And it's little fractions like that that certainly help. Playing up for the blue. And he's not got the angle to disturb anything. Pots the blue. He'll be 63 points in front, but still 67 remaining. So Ronnie is not quite out of this frame yet.
Chris will be slightly reluctant to play for the red down the cushion, but that's the one he's going to have to do, because he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball here. He can just roll it in dead weight. Doesn't have to worry about, he's bound to be on the black as it happens, the position he has, but even if he was dead straight, he'd just roll it in and not worried about the white. So this virtually frame ball. Well,
14.
That was careless.
Chris Small.
Should have just played it dead weight. If you're going to miss it, just miss it. Don't try and get away with it. There's another example of hitting the near jaw on these tables. It's sometimes very tough for them to go in. Is this cuttable? Obviously not. So Sullivan yet to score in the last 144 points that have been scored in this match.
Yeah, it's another good safety shot from Ronnie, but Chris may be tempted to play this red. He only needs the red. Same scenario as his last visit to the table. Not there. Now there's 67 on the table, so Ronnie O'Sullivan, if he pots the red, needs high-value colours. So he's going to have to play for the black, really, off this red if he goes for the pot.